Alright, welcome back to the second map between KemPeR and Ciara. We are currently looking at the player who is up 1-0 in this best of 3. Ciara has done a pretty good job on Twisted Meadows. We've definitely seen the most one-sided map of this tournament so far. And his opponent, KemPeR, is really going to have to improve compared to the first map if he wants to stay in this best of 3 and if he wants to maintain his chances here. So yeah, it is Turtle Rock and it is close spawn positions. I mean, this is still an Extreme Masters game, so apparently we're gonna have our fair share of close spawn games here, and we'll see how both of the players are going to handle that. Curious to see when they are going to decide to scout. KemPeR most likely is going to use the altar peasant, and so most likely will Ciara, and we're gonna keep an eye on his first hero choice. Let's see if he's gonna stick with the Farseer. I mean, it's worked out pretty fine on map number 1, so he's not changing it up, going for the Farseer again. And for KemPeR, of course, it is the IEM only choice which we can expect here, together with the first footman. It's gonna want to start creeping, and Ciara's probably gonna want to start harassing. In the meantime, yeah, close spawns have been scouted. Not really sure what this militia was doing there, scouting towards the middle. PN staying here. First footman is already out, and he's starting to chop lumber. Yeah, I'm assuming that he's gonna wanna pull those creeps here so that they start running like up here, and then the creeping of KemPeR is going to be delayed, so the Farseer is going to be in time to harass, and that's exactly what's happening here. The PN is pulling the creeps away towards the middle of the map. KemPeR would love to start creeping here, but he's not going to be given the chance to do so. Now he can, but the Farseer is already there. The first hatchling is going to the human. The first wolf is taking a bit of damage. IEM is being attacked again as the first target. This time KemPeR is reacting rather quickly though, and repositions him immediately. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary damage here, unlike he did on TM. In the meantime, tech not yet started for Ciara. He needs 10 more lumber before he can do so, which he's got right now. So let's see how much attention he's paying here to his economy. Now he starts teching, and KemPeR on the other hand again is getting his IEM attacked. I think new wolves are going to be spawned in just a second. KemPeR, with the early tower again, is going to have his tech a little bit later. But yeah, look at this. He could just start teching already, but he's really feeling the pressure here apparently. Ciara coming in again onto this IEM, spawning new wolves right now, doing some more damage. Now he starts taking way too late. And the footmen are gonna chase the Farseer away for now. So this really seems to be the game plan here for Ciara. Wearing down this IEM, not necessarily even killing him. I mean, why not if you get a chance to do so? But just preventing him from basically doing anything if, if you can. And again, just a couple of hits on the IEM all the time. At the same time, the Farseer is also taking some damage. Another pair of wolves. The timing with which he's spawning those is always pretty good in my opinion. He's always getting quite a few free hits onto the IEM once he spawns new wolves. And the giant sea turtle is going to the orc as well as the slippers, as the contest of August strength. And the IEM still only level 1.5. And rather low, and not even a shop being produced at the moment, is having a bit of a rough time. At the same time, plenty of footmen still available, as well as the water elementals to tank though. Ciara now getting salves, healing up, and heading over towards the human immediately again. Let's see how much he can get away with here, if he's gonna be able to quickly secure the level 2 for himself. He's going for the item dropping Ogre Warrior first. Let's see what he's getting here. He's gonna hope for, okay, he's getting claws, which isn't too bad. I guess Circlet would have been a little bit better, just given that his opponent is just A-clicking his IEM all the time. But claws isn't all too horrible as well. Gonna if he's ever getting back to some HP. It's gonna give him some means to fight back. One of the footmen is taking lots of damage and he's gonna fall definitely, but the creeps are doing the last hit. IEM is heading towards the middle of the map. Of course, he has no place in this fight currently. Naga second bot for Ciara, so he really wants to keep the pressure up here apparently. Naga, I'm not really sure how well that hero is going to translate into the late game, but at the moment, with the IEM being on low HP, with the tech of his opponent being a little bit behind his, this might not be all too bad. And if you look at the building placement of KemPeR, I don't see where he's gonna put his arcane sanctums in the back of space. So as long as Ciara can keep the pressure up here, that's gonna be a task that KemPeR is gonna have to solve somehow. Double Spirit Lodge coming for Ciara. Okay, so we're not gonna see the same style that we've seen previously. Probably just grunts and shamans would be my guess. Interesting approach here strategically. Very old school by Ciara. Getting another footman killed here. Yeah, and the arcane sanctums have to be built in front of the base. IEM is taking a few more hits again, but there's a shop in the back and he's got the chance to buy potions right now. So hero focus is not as great a weapon anymore at the moment, I feel like, but he's changing his approach here, going for the kills on the peasants who are building the arcane sanctums, and he's getting all 4 of them. In the meantime, taking a bit of damage on his grunts, taking a bit of damage on his Naga. Needs to make sure not to get surrounded here, which he's doing. MK is out, so I guess this is Town Portal time right now, and that's exactly what's happening. Bolt maybe coming onto the Naga. Is he getting the kill? No. So Ciara getting out with all of his units alive here. But he's taken a huge ton of damage on everything, and he's gonna run towards the right hand side right now. He doesn't realize that KemPeR is coming in, but there's no way in hell that he's gonna be willing to take that fight at the moment. So okay, now he realizes it. The IEM is pretty far up front. He needs to pull back. If the IEM would go down, it would of course be great, but that's not gonna happen. The Farseer is going to be in a bit of trouble here, using a speed scroll, getting a heal potion on his shop. The Mountain King is the next target. He's got to reposition here. First Shaman has spawned. He's going to be able to take care of the water elementals. The Naga is the next target here. Like everything, like a lot of stuff on both sides is pretty low. And at the end of the day, neither one has lost anything in this fight so far. And KemPeR is the one who's got to get going. I mean, yeah, Ciara paid a little bit more here. He's used like salves, which he's got to use again right now. Used speed scroll, used heal potion. So that was a fine little attack by KemPeR. Even though he didn't kill anything, he wasted a lot of Ciara's gold. And finally, his arcanes are up, and he's going to be able to start producing casters just now. First 2 sorceresses are out. First one gets purged immediately, and it's going to be focus fired. And yeah, Cold Arrow turned on again. The Sork is going to fall in just a second here. Militia are being called. And actually, I'm not too sure if I'm too great a fan of this fight for Ciara here. The next Sork is going to be sniped out, but at the same time, he's got to fight tons of militia here, and he's using 2 grunts for that. He's not even getting the second sorceress. One of the footmen's being sniped out here, another footman being sniped out. The MK still has plenty of mana, and yeah, I'm not a fan of this fight. Previously I said I'm not sure, but I'm definitely not a fan of this fight for Ciara. Another bolt is going to be available, and he's going for another kill on one of these shamans, which is the last one for now for Ciara. The militia duration is about to run out, so he's going to have to pull them back. And there's no more mana on the Mountain King, so this, I'm not really sure how well the human player is going to be able to sustain this fight against the Naga and the Farseer, but there's really nothing left for Ciara. I think he definitely overextended here, got a little bit over-eager with his aggression, but then again, the Grunt Shaman strategy is not really designed to, you know, be passive and go into a straight-up late game against human with tons of casters. Especially with this Naga second, like he doesn't have Shockwave Chain Lightning later on or anything like that. And there's no Town Portal and no Speed Scroll anymore. There is now mana for a Bolt, and I guess the Farseer should better get going here, because there is still... okay, unfortunately for the human, his Mountain King barely surviving here. Unfortunately for the human, he had slow on auto cast, but the Naga is coming back and he's getting a kill on her. I was just saying slow is on auto cast, therefore he cannot cast slow on the Farseer anymore. But then again, he might just kill the Shamans. The Mountain King is still alive. There's very little damage output remaining for Ciara. The Mountain King is still the target here, but the Farseer is the one who has to pull back first, and both of the wolves are going to be taken down. Let's see if all of these Shamans are going to get away. But that was a very good fight for KemPeR here. Collecting his casters, getting his first breakers into the mix. 48 supply for him, 35 for Ciara. So yeah, that tells a lot. Shamans are heading back. The Naga is being reproduced right now pretty slowly, and he's even adding a couple of demolishers. The problem is that he lost the majority of his blocking line. He might be afraid of a push right now, and he just wants to have like demolishers in the back together with the burrows defending that. Another Shaman gets picked off here. But on the open field, as long as he doesn't bring more grunts into the mix, he's not going to be able to fight anytime soon. Usually this like gruntapult plus shamans, you usually need like 2 barracks to really sustain both the demolishers and the grunts, and he only has 1 at the moment. Demolisher is going to be pulled back into the orc space. KemPeR needs to make sure not to overextend here. Perch on another one of these footmen. Unfortunately, for Ciara, the burrow got the last hit on that footman. The grunt is gonna fall. MK 2.5 already, and all of a sudden this is looking like a very, very tough game for the orc player. Naga is back. That's something. Second Demolisher is out there. There's a huge boost to his damage output, but this is in a very awkward position. The Mountain King, yeah, even if he lets it get out to the bottom, there's no way in hell that this Demolisher is going to get to the back of space. At the same time, the casters up front here are again diving in pretty deeply, and Ciara is getting a couple of kills on those. The Demolisher is just, yeah, splatting one of those casters apart. Naga needs to be pulled back here, and he's doing just so in time. And yeah, plenty of units of KemPeR have fallen here. It's a super hard position to push into against the Demolisher, against the burrows with all of these weak and many of those unarmored units which are taking so much damage against the piercing and the siege damage. And his main tanks can be dealt with somewhat decently at the moment by the Shamans. So Ciara is holding on here, not losing all too much. KemPeR really needs to do this slowly, really needs to start sieging from outside and, you know, take down whatever is coming next in terms of the orc space. Because we just saw what happened when he tried to dive in deeply, and he's even falling back here at the moment. I mean, the statement I made previously, that still applies. Ciara, as long as he doesn't have a blocking line, fighting with only Shamans and Demolishers out in the open is going to be an incredibly difficult task. He's heading across the map immediately, and he's even built a tower inside of the forest here, which is going to be a bit of help for him. MK with a big heal potion, great item, and level 3. Yeah, Ciara shooting down some of that forest. Needs to make sure not to kill his own tower here. Okay, that of course, like if he can put his Demolishers behind here and then just have very little to block, this could still work out, because if the casters have to dive in this small choke against plenty of towers, this could still end up being very painful for KemPeR, and thus far he has no idea about what's about to hit him. Does he have a town portal? Yes, he does. And probably as the Demolishers start sieging, he's going to use that right now. And he's got a Tome of Retraining, so he's going to have Blizzard, and that's going to be a huge help against both the towers and the Demolishers. And the Demolishers are totally out of position. Is there a speed scroll on Ciara? No, there isn't. So the first Demolisher is falling immediately. One tower has only finished. I think Ciara has revealed his strategy a little bit too quickly here. The Naga is in trouble, and the Mountain King still has so much mana. This Naga is so dead. There's no way in hell that this one is going to survive unless... Okay, now the Mountain King is taking the charge apparently. Now the bolt is coming and the Naga is dying. Demolishers, there we can see he's got nothing to tank here. Lightning shield on one of the Demolishers, okay. Doing a bit of damage to the militia, but still so many breakers and casters around for the human. IEM really needs to be careful. The big heal potion already used, as it appears. But yeah, there's so little that Ciara has to work with currently, together with those towers. Blizzard is doing a great job against those, but the IEM is pretty low. But he doesn't even have vision at the moment for these towers to be useful. So I think Ciara should have waited like a minute longer, or maybe just 20 seconds longer, for 3 more towers to finish with that fight, and it could have gone entirely different. So the way it went, this Demolition is going to fall, this guy is probably going to fall as well. Or the other one. And yeah, he's just going around this little pond here and back to his towers. But he's got such a huge army disadvantage. 53 supply against 34. He's going for the tower here up front again, but only for a second. And KemPeR is coming in from the right hand side again. Farsi is in trouble. Is there slow? There is slow available. He could use it. Farsi is trying to get away. The Mountain King does have, my god, 350 mana still. And there's the GG by Ciara. A decent early game for him. Not nearly as good as Twisted Meadows, of course, but decent. And then he went for that terrible fight in front of KemPeR's main base with his first like 2 or 3 shamans against KemPeR's first slow and so many militia of the Russian, and he traded not great in a fight that went like halfway across the map all the way to like the bottom right side of the map, and yeah, gotten himself into a tough spot, and KemPeR had a big advantage there. Fortunately for Ciara, he got a fight in the best possible conditions for him, which was with the base as his blocking line and the burrows to support him, and that kept him in the game for a little bit. But yeah, I think, as I said it, I think if he just waited a little bit longer and fought with the towers, it could have been an entirely different story. Then again, while he was just building towers, KemPeR crept very nicely. IEM almost level 4, MK level 3, found greater heal potion. I'm not even sure what he found at the Goblin Merchant. Yeah, the way it went, it was a very clear win in the end fight for KemPeR. But I think with a few tweaks, this could have gone entirely different, but it didn't. And therefore, we will have a third map, which will be Tarina Stand.